crazy job. Being in TV is bizarre.
Do you run?
And yeah, I do.
Oh, good.
But nothing
Do you
like
run?
that.
A little bit. I row.
Good. You row.
Okay.
Where do you row?
In my living room.
Oh, I see.
On this machine I have.
But you know, it's very interesting. There has been a real turnaround. A decade ago, the top women in high fashion were not much for getting definition in their musculature. They just stayed slender.
They just starved.
They just starved
Right.
themselves, and
Right.
they didn't do anything to stay fit. Now, a woman looks so much better when you can see that there's muscle there.
Right. That's right.
When did that all start to turn around in fashion, in high fashion?
I don't know. I think I've been a little bit bigger boned than those girls back in the 70s, and it started turning around, I'd say, late 70s, and that's when I started working.
Definitely
So.
a healthy turn.
Yeah, thank goodness.
Yeah. You've been working since the 70s. How did you get started in your career?
How did I get started?
Yeah.
I was discovered in Buffalo when I was going to school.
You were going to be
When
a
I was in high school.
pharmacist?
Right. I was going to go into pharmacy at the University of Rhode Island and just decided to give this a try and see if it worked, and I could always go back to college. And obviously, I've never been back to college.
Now, you were kind of discovered in almost a sort of fairy tale story. You were
up in Buffalo?
Yes.
Yeah, I guess so. It's just a strange thing. I never really thought that I would be a model, and they asked me to go to New York City and be a model, and I kept saying, no, I want to be a pharmacist. No, I don't want to sit there every night and file my nails and worry about my weight. I was a real tomboy.
It didn't take long before you were on magazine covers. When did you feel that you had really made it into that upper echelon of modeling? Was there a certain point where you said, well,
no,
this is
it's
success?
sort of, people were telling me things like that, like you're a supermodel, and it really didn't hit. I was still looking at some of the other girls that were a little bit higher up, like Christy Brinkley and Cheryl Tiegs and things, and, you know, they were doing better than I was. I just kept striving to do more and more and be better. So.
One of the things that people have in their mind, the perception of the fashion industry, is that it is just super glamorous and such fun, but actually it's grueling hard work in many ways.
Right. I think it's very hard work. It takes a lot of perseverance to stick with it. You know, I'm on flights. Last night my plane was 2.5 hours late and then was canceled, and I happened to get on another one, and you have problems like that. If that's all you do is modeling, I think that you can relax and rest, but it's a hard job. It really
If you
is.
have a shoot that takes you maybe to an island in the Caribbean or something, you know, that sounds so wonderful to all of us. What is a typical day of shooting like for you?
I mean, it's wonderful. You're there, but you don't get to relax and enjoy the palm trees. You're out there with makeup on, and your hair's all
90
sprayed,
degrees.
and you've got pantyhose on, and you're modeling fur coats or something stupid like that. You know, it's so you don't get to relax and go play volleyball and have a good time. You're there. You're in the atmosphere. You get to stay in a nice hotel room at night. You hear the breezes, and that's about it. Otherwise, you're working, and it is work. So.
Tell us about your little baby.
I have a 2-year-old little boy named Jamie.
And how soon after Jamie came, I always ask these kind of questions, how soon after Jamie came did you start running again?
I biked on a stationary bike 10 days afterwards and ran 3 weeks afterwards.
Before I broke my leg, I was getting pretty hot, and I ran a 10-kilometer race, and I was beaten at the wire by a woman who was 6 months pregnant.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
And you tell that story,
Yeah,
huh?
yeah, I'm not ashamed.
Kim, what do you think makes the difference between a model who may work very well in a market like Cleveland and then the model who makes it in New York and lands on magazine covers all over the world and becomes
gets rich.
The Paulina or the Kim Alexis or the Cindy Crawford?
First of all, you've got, you know, there can be girls that work very well in Cleveland and Buffalo and all these places around the country. To be a cover girl, you have to have an absolute certain look. They're looking for a lot of space up around your eye to add a lot of colors and a real semi-blank face with just bones.